In this slidecast, we're going to look at other parties that are involved in, interested in, can affect an engineering project. So we looked at the people that are actually doing the engineering project, the client, the consultant, and the contractor. But these other parties are also involved and can be involved in one way or another, mostly through communication. Most of the requirements of these parties is that they are properly communicated with and that you also listen to them as well. So let's look at each one of those. I've grouped them into two different groups. So there's the authorities, the people that have a certain amount of power over some aspects of the project, and the community, the people who are in that particular area where the project is being carried out. So the first authority is the consenting authority. If you are doing a significant disturbance to, say, a piece of land, like doing earthworks or building a road, you can't do that as of right. You have to ask permission of the local, regional or territorial council. Now in Auckland, the regional and territorial councils are one organisation, Auckland Council. In other areas there is a regional council, so for example every part of New Zealand north of Auckland is covered by the Northland Regional Council, and within that region is several territorial councils. So for example there's the Whangarei District Council, who are responsible for the area around Whangarei. There is the Kaipara District Council, who are responsible for the area around the Kaipara Harbour. The responsibility of these councils is to protect the natural resources and the people within their particular council area. Earthworks, all the civil engineering work that we do, that changes what's happening in a community. If you're doing earthworks, some of the silt can actually wash off the site and end up in a natural watercourse, which would cause damage to that watercourse. The local fish might die off because they are suffocated. The local plant life might die off. So it's the job of the regional and territorial councils to protect those resources, but also to make sure that the rights of the people within the community, these people here, are also maintained. So when you're doing some work, you're usually required to do a resource consent. One type of resource consent is an earthworks consent, and you need to go to the council, you need to tell them what you're going to do. They may give you permission to do it in the form of a resource consent, and that consent will say things along the lines of, yes, you can do it, but you have to put measures in place to stop silt from getting into the stream, for example. So that's what a resource consent is. Building consents, if you're building a building, it has to be up to a certain standard. There are laws that say the buildings have to meet certain standards, and once again the territorial council makes sure you do that. If you want to build a building, you have to go to them, you have to say, I want to build this building, you have to show them the design, they approve it, and then they make sure that you are building it properly. So they will come to site and they will inspect certain parts of the works to make sure they comply with those standards. Another authority is the Occupational Safety and Health. This is part of the Department of Labour. Their job is to make sure that the workers on site are safe, that they're doing safe practices. For example, if someone's working at height, they've got a harness on in case they fall. And also that the general public are also protected. The community are also interested in what you're doing within their community. If you're doing a project within a community, you're causing disruption, you're changing things. So the neighbours are the people that are mostly affected. They're interested in you minimising nuisances such as odour, such as noise, such as insects. Honestly, all neighbours really want you to do is just go away, but you have the right to do the work, so the best thing you do is communicate with them. Interest groups, for example, there's Forest and Bird, who are interested in protecting natural resources. So they'll be interested in what are you doing to stop earthworks runoff from getting into a stream, for example. Iwi are also interested in protecting the natural resources, but they're also interested in how it affects their heritage. There might be wahitapu, burial sites close to where you are. How are you protecting it? Archaeological sites, they're interested in how you're going to protect that. And lastly, there's the general community, not the neighbours, but the people in the community itself. You also affect them. So all of these groups need to be communicated with.